Nobody apologized to you. Nobody sat you down and said what happened to you wasn't okay. You didn't deserve that. I'm sorry it happened. Nobody marked it. Nobody named it. Life just kept going. And you were expected to keep going with it. So you did. You kept going. You got on with it. You told yourself it wasn't that bad, or that other people had it worse, or that you were over it. But you're watching this video. So some part of you knows you're not quite over it. And here's what I wanted to say to that part of you, that part that's been carrying something that was never officially counted as a loss, because I think it's been waiting a long, long time to hear this. But first, I need you to understand something about why this kind of pain is so hard to heal, because the reason isn't what most people think. I've carried things that I couldn't explain. Not bereavement, not a disaster, nothing that would make sense in a conversation, just something that happened that shifted something in me that I never fully recovered from and couldn't justify talking about because nobody else seemed to think it was a big deal. So I didn't talk about it and it didn't go anywhere. Here's what I've come to understand. Grief needs to be witnessed to move through you. When something is named, when someone says, yes, that was real, yes, that mattered, something in you can finally exhale. But when it's never acknowledged, when there's no funeral, no conversation, no moment of recognition, it doesn't dissolve, it just goes quiet and it waits. And here's the part nobody tells you about quiet pain. It doesn't just stay quiet forever. It finds other ways out because unacknowledged pain doesn't disappear, it relocates. And until you understand where it goes, you can't understand why you keep feeling the way you do. It goes into your body, into the tightness you carry in your shoulders, into the way you flinch at certain tones of voice, into the exhaustion that sleep doesn't fix. It goes into your relationships, into why you pull away when someone gets close, into why certain things feel disproportionately painful, into why you apologize for things that aren't your fault. It goes into your inner voice, the one that says you're too sensitive, that you should be over it, that it wasn't even that bad. That voice isn't yours. That's the voice of every person who's minimized what you've went through and you internalized it so completely that you started doing their job for them. And here's what I think you need to hear more than anything else in this video, because this next part is the reason healing hasn't worked yet. You've been trying to heal something you haven't fully allowed yourself to claim. And you can't heal what you won't name. The reason the wound stays open isn't because you're weak. It's because somewhere inside you, you're still not sure you're allowed to call it a wound. Because nobody else did. Because the person who hurt you never said sorry. Because the situation resolved without anyone noticing the cost. Because you were told directly or indirectly that's what happened. It wasn't serious enough to grieve. And so you've been doing this strange, painful thing where you grieve something while simultaneously arguing with yourself about whether you're allowed to grieve it. And that's exhausting. Genuinely. Quite exhausting. And I want to offer you something. Not a solution, not a starting point, because I think before anything else you need someone to say what should have been said a long time ago. And if nobody has said it yet, let me be the one. What happened to you mattered. It mattered even if nobody else marked it. It mattered even if the person who caused it never acknowledged it. It mattered even if you can't find the right words to explain it. It mattered even if from the outside it looked like you were fine. You were allowed to be affected. You were allowed to grieve it. You are allowed to still be grieving it now. The fact that nobody else witnessed it doesn't mean it didn't happen. The fact that no one apologized doesn't mean it wasn't worth an apology. The fact that life kept going doesn't mean you had to be okay. And the real healing starts the moment you stop needing someone else to validate the wound before you allow yourself to tend to it. Because you've been waiting for permission, and I think it's time you stopped waiting. You don't need the person who hurt you to admit it before you're allowed to heal. You don't need a conversation that's never going to happen. You don't need closure from someone who doesn't have it to give it. You need to look at what happened and say, that was real, that affected me, and I'm allowed to take it seriously even if no one else did. You've been waiting for someone to acknowledge what happened to you before you gave yourself permission to heal from it. You don't need their acknowledgement. You needed yours. And now you have it.